There were so many songs that I would cry myself asleep to, or that I would play on repeat to get over a breakup, or that I had an intimate relationship with to deal with life in some way. The artists who created them songs had no idea about what the fuck I was going through. What's up, y'all? It's your girl Phoenix Novell, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Right Hustle. And this episode is called The Importance of Authenticity. You know, I don't often watch the award shows. I'm not really big on like the Oscars or the Grammys or anything like that. I think for the most part it's because, I do watch the performances, like if it's posted or, later on down the line somewhere, I might like click on like, an artist of mine that I like, maybe I want to see their performance or whatever. But the overall idea of the competition part really never set right with me, because I'm so anti-competition when it comes to artistry, and it's so subjective, right? Because it's like a song that somebody wrote could change your life. It could be the reason why you stop dealing with the wrong type of person, or the reason why you stop doing drugs, or the reason why you completely changed your life, or maybe it helped you get through a horrible period of life. And maybe it isn't a huge big hit in the world, but it meant something to you. And so I when I used to watch him, I used to be so into it, and I used to really rely on what people said about this artist or this song, and that must have been really great. Or I used to judge myself based on what was a hit. I used to think, this is what the world wants. This is what they must want because they voted this is number one, or this is the best album of the year, this is the best artist of the year. And the truth is, as I got older and as I started to write the kind of music that I love, I listened to the stuff that won, and I was just always like, I don't see how that happened. I don't see why that happened. And I realized that a lot of artists who are authentic and who are themselves and who are different from everybody else, they stand out more to me, because after a while, if you're constantly looking at what's on the radio or listening to what people say is this top song or this top artist, everybody's sounding the same. There's security and safety a lot in being like everybody else, but the artists who surpass everybody else is the ones who come into the game completely original and authentic. And I mentioned the Grammys and the Oscars because I caught a glimpse of Doecii. She's been around for a little while, but she's just like blowing up right now. And she is a rapper. I believe she's a singer as well. But she is exceptionally talented. And I say that because when I first heard her, before I really knew how big she was, she just happened to be, I think she was like featured on something with Katy Perry. And I just loved her flow, which made me start to research her and figure out exactly who she was. And when I heard some more of her original stuff, I was blown away at her cadences. I was blown away at her pattern of rhythm, at her lyrics, at her style. And it was just so refreshing. The last time I heard that was Lauryn Hill, real talk. And there's been a lot of other female rappers since Lauryn Hill. And I think the one who I liked, who I was kind of starting to get a liking for, was Megan Thee Stallion as well, because I liked her flow. But Doecii, she's a storyteller. and her flow is so sick and so impeccable. And I think her DJ is all, like she does a lot of her skits with her, and it's like a really dope ass back and forth as she's telling a story about her life. So many of us are afraid to share our truth. So many of us are afraid to be who we are, because we are, especially when you get to the level where all eyes are on you, people are investing money in you. A lot of times you're talked at, or you're told what to do or how to be. And for her to be at that level in the game where she is still able to be herself, first of all, I was impressed because she still looked like, and I mean, listen, ain't nothing wrong with people who want to change up stuff and get stuff done, but it was just so refreshing to see somebody who I felt like I could see down the street from me, or who I went to school with. Like this woman looks like she did when she was making the YouTube videos. Beautiful, stunningly beautiful. She looks natural. She looks like the homie. And when she won, I believe it was Album of the Year, I'm not sure but I was really impressed with what she said, because when she got up there, she made it a point to say, I know there's a black girl out there who looks like me. You know, she was saying a woman, period, girl, period, but she mentioned, I know there's a black girl out there. Don't let nobody tell you that you're too dark. Don't let nobody tell you that it's not okay to be who you are. She was so passionate about getting that message across. And that's why I made this video today, because so many of us have a story inside of us that we want to tell. So many of us have these ideas and we're creatively driven, but we're so nervous about sharing our story because maybe it's too taboo, or maybe it's too raw, or maybe we're just afraid because nobody's out there saying what we feel like we need to say, or saying what we feel like needs to be said. Sometimes the reason that is because it's you who needs to break in with that story and with that message, right? Like, I have all these visions and all these ideas, and one thing I'm really happy and proud about is that even though I know there's not a lot of people out there like me doing what I want to do, I'm not afraid of sharing my creativity, because there were so many songs that I would cry myself asleep to, or that I would play on repeat to get over a breakup, or that I had an intimate relationship with to deal with life in some way. The artists who created them songs had no idea about what the fuck I was going through. They had no idea what I was dealing with on a daily basis in my life, but they didn't stop the inspiration and the motivation they had to release whatever creativity gave birth to that song. And that song was a huge part of my life. Not all those songs won awards, or won best song or best album. Not all of those artists are huge superstars today. But does that make their music any less impactful and powerful? So many of us have our favorite songs that we just go into a whole nother space when we hear them. And that artist will never know us personally. That's the reason why we create. That's the reason why we're compelled to share. That's the reason why you have to share. Because you have no idea what happens with your song, or with your story, or with your book, or with your poem after that shit leaves your world. After you release it out into the public. I don't give a shit if you don't have a whole lot of subscribers, or if people don't even. All I care about is the fact that somebody can happen upon your shit, and your shit can change their life. Your story can make them feel less alone. I was so happy to see Doecii. I was so happy to hear her message. I was so happy to hear her I felt like she got to this level while she was still able to be who she was. And so many artists don't get that. They don't get the chance to be who they saw in their mind's eye when they were just, dreaming about the Grammys one day or dreaming about being a superstar. They're changed so much emotionally, physically, mentally. And then the person who gets up there and performs or speaks to the world, maybe that's not the person who was supposed to be up there. Maybe they don't get a chance to say what they really wanted to say because now they don't believe in themselves as much, or they're unsure or afraid to be real. So I'm happy, I'm proud of this woman who told her story, who revived hip hop for a lot of female rappers, who isn't talking about sex all day long and crazy. And again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with speaking about whatever is real to you, but it was refreshing to hear somebody talk about their journey and their story, and who also look like me, because I don't want to be one of those people who are ashamed or who doesn't feel attractive enough, who thinks that having plastic surgery or something altered is going to make me more marketable. Because that's a thing. I used to have those thoughts. I used to feel that way because of what I saw on TV. And I'm older now, and it's not, as you get older, you sometimes feel even more compelled to make changes and to look younger. But I want to be somebody who's still me, who still looks like me and sounds like me when I get to that level of stardom that I see in my mind. My artistry is a little different. I never really wanted to be, in one lane. I'm an artist, I'm a singer, I'm a rapper, I'm a producer, I'm a musician, and I also draw, and I like to, I'm a writer, I write books, I do so much, and so I want to take all that shit to the top with me, and when it's my time, explode on the world. And I see it in my mind, but again, I want to be who I am right now talking to you when I get there. And to be that, I have to embody certain beliefs so that they are so deeply ingrained in me that I cannot go there unless I still am authentic to myself. So I'm talking to anybody who sees something big for themselves in the future, who has a goal and a dream and a vision. To all of you writers, to all of you artists, to all of you creatives out there who don't often see something that resembles what it is that you want to bring to the table out there on the big stage right now. Maybe it's you who's supposed to pave the way. Maybe it's you who's supposed to share that story. Maybe it's you who's supposed to bring that vision to the table. So don't be afraid to be yourself, because nothing, is original in the sense where it's just you who's going through this. You have no idea how many people are going through this. Many people just might not want to talk about it. And what I mean by going through whatever it is that you want to talk about. So many of us, we're afraid to say something real, but as soon as somebody say that shit, we know in our heart, wow, I'm not alone. But somebody has to be brave enough to share their truth and take the chance of people saying, of people not knowing how to respond to it, but you being bold enough to say, you know what, this is my truth. And for whoever it's for, that's who gonna feel it. So hopefully this message reaches somebody out there, many of you out there who are uncertain about your authenticity, who are told that you're not, or that it's not time, or that it's not right, or there's no fucking rules. Seriously. You know why there's no rules? Because we are where we are today as a society, as a world, because somebody in every field that we've dominated or been able to advance in has been the first to say it, right? Somebody had to be the first. Somebody had to pave the way. And because it was something that a lot of us could relate to, the path has been now made clear. And we can all walk it, right? But in the beginning, if you don't know, you don't understand, then it's not always clear how it's going to go, how people are going to respond to it. But the brave ones are not afraid to say, guess what? This is my story. And if you can relate, you can relate. If you can't, just listen to it and vibe out, right? Just appreciate this newness so that this is something that is going on in the world somewhere, somehow, right? So hopefully this inspired you guys. Doecii is a dope ass artist. Check her out. I'm excited about what her creative catalog looks like for the future, because she is somebody definitely that I want to keep a close eye on. All right. Once again, it's your girl Phoenix Novell, and thank you for tuning into another episode of The Right Hustle. Until next time, guys, stay creative, stay blessed, stay positive, and live your life on purpose.